Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of Jimmy's and Joe's, where we talk about sports. Today is going to be just football. Nothing else is happening with sports across the league, really. Um, so we're just going to talk about football. Uh, First thing on for today's is the topic that Dalvin Cook just signed with the Ravens. He was released by the Jets. Ravens signed him pretty much right away. Um, I don't know if they are lacking running backs, even though because of the injuries. Even though what's his face,
Gus Edwards.
Gus Edwards, and who's the other running back?
Justice Hill.
Justice Hill. Have been filling in the spots for their injured running backs, but they got a veteran running back now, Dalvin Cook. So we'll see. I don't know if that will help the Ravens. Dalvin Cook hasn't really done shit this year with the Jets. Could have been his
Disappointing.
Why'd they
Just,
sign him?
The Ravens.
No, why did the Jets sign
Yeah, I don't
Dalvin
know.
Cook?
They have arguably
they
a
have
top
Brees
5
Hall,
running back.
right? Brees Hall, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
They have him. He's their number one guy.
Yep.
And they signed Dalvin Cook to carry the ball 5 times in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes no sense.
Or sometimes
He was misused the whole
He was.
season, and now he's ring chasing, which nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why he went to the Ravens. It had nothing to do with the system and use running backs. No, let's just go get a ring since I'm not being used correctly the whole year.
So you don't think the Ravens will use him?
No, I think he might be used, but he's gonna.
Not as much as like Gus Edwards and Justice. Hill.
No,
Okay.
I think he'll be he'll come in and they might try to use him this week because they have no one playing.
Yeah.
And it means
Yeah,
nothing,
they're
but
gonna
they're
rest.
gonna let's
They already clinched that number 1 spot, so they're going to rest. I mean, Lamar's not playing. I don't even think Odell Beckham's playing, and he's not
No.
necessarily I mean, he's definitely a useful guy that you can use when you're not throwing the ball to, I guess, Isaiah Likely, who's been used a lot, and
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, But like Odell is, I guess, like a wide receiver 3 now, if you think about it. But the running back situation on Baltimore is interesting. Like Lamar obviously is a runner, but he also does throw the ball a decent amount. But like Gus Edwards is not a guy that's really used unless he's maybe in the red zone, and Justice Hill is another guy that pretty inconsistent, at least the second half of the year. They started using him a little bit late, like the last game or two, but I don't know. I mean, I'm with you, though. Dalvin Cook I was surprised that they didn't use him more. I know Brees Hall is the offense this year because Aaron Rodgers was not playing, but I was surprised that Dalvin Cook wasn't a better player. I know he's more of a veteran. He's a veteran now, but like I was pretty surprised that he had such a lackluster season that he did
They
have.
just didn't know how to use him.
Well, you got a guy coming off an ACL injury, right?
Yeah.
Brees Hall. And they said, he might not be ready for the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Dalvin Cook, even though they signed him really late.
Yeah.
And he's going to help bring Brees Hall back into it. But then, to start the year, Brees Hall gets 25 freaking carries a game.
Yeah.
And they're not using Dalvin Cook. So I just feel like the Jets completely, messed with the media's head about how they were going to use Dalvin Cook. They were like, Dalvin Cook's going to be our lead back. The Jets are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They have 2 amazing running backs, and they really only used one of them. But
Yep.
Rodgers did get hurt, so it's a pass for that.
Yeah.
The Jets turned into a team that I was really excited about, and then just I don't understand the decisions they made at quarterback. Like you could have just played Zach Wilson the whole year because Tim Boyle. I mean, I wanted to punch the television every time I saw that guy out there. He sucks. He's unathletic, like Nick Foles is unathletic, And then Even Trevor Simeon, I'm like, what are we like? You signed that guy like week 5 or week 6. You didn't play him at all, and then I don't know if you're just trying to play mind games with Zach Wilson. I'm not saying Zach Wilson is like a great. I'm not going to say he's a good quarterback. I'm not going to say he's that bad. I think he's got potential, and I think having Rodgers on the Jets to try to mentor him when Rodgers does decide to stop playing football down the road is a smart strategy. But I don't know. It's hard to play for that organization because the fan base is ruthless. But I mean, I don't know. I was so pissed at that team this year, and like I don't blame any of it on Aaron Rodgers. I think the Jets were stupid for not signing somebody, I guess, more meaningful if their goal was still to make the playoffs, because God knows Zach Wilson's not going to get you to the playoffs.
No.
Well,
not now, at least.
See, the whole thing was, like, I feel bad for Zach Wilson because they told him, you're not going to play all year. Aaron Rodgers comes in. He's going to be the starter for 2 years. You learn from him.
Yep.
First drive, Aaron Rodgers, pop. Oh, Zach Wilson, you're the starting quarterback again.
Welcome back.
You know what they should have? You know what they should have done? Is they should have been like, okay, you're still gonna sit this year. You're not gonna play. Joe Flacco, you know the frickin' system. They should have brought him in.
Yeah, they should have.
Joe Flacco called the Jets
Or Dobbs.
and said, "I'd like to come back if you'd have me." And they said, "No, we're fine with Zach Wilson." When they told him he wasn't gonna play, and then he gets thrown into the fire, and now the New York hates him again.
Mm-hmm.
When they started to like him because, like, oh, he's going to learn from Rodgers, and Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's going to learn. But then all of a sudden Rodgers gets hurt, and now Zach Wilson has to go in there and gets thrown into the fire and gets screwed over because he's just not ready. He just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Yep. And
He had no the whole preseason, it was all about Aaron Rodgers.
yeah.
Zach Wilson did nothing. If you watched Hard Knocks, he did nothing. He threw frickin' routes on air.
Yep.
And they expect him to go in and just be, oh, he's better now.
Yeah.
Because of 3 weeks with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And then look at Joe Flacco now on a playoff team.
Yep.
And
Should be comeback player of the year, but
look at Cleveland.
he won't be.
Cleveland went through 4 quarterbacks, and
Yeah. And
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, they've won games they probably shouldn't have won either, the Browns.
and
Including that Bears game, honestly.
yeah, they should have lost
3
that game.
interceptions.
Yeah,
They
well,
lost
that-
over 300 yards. too.
the Bears coaching staff lost that game for them, in
They've lost
my opinion.
every game.
Stupidity, and
Yeah.
we can get into talking about the Bears a little bit, but we can keep chatting about whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to the Bears for the last segment we got there.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Next, I'm going to go over the Pro Bowl selections. A lot of snubs for the Pro Bowl. We'll start
Yeah.
with the NFC. Okay. So we got, for quarterback, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Stafford.
2 correct quarterbacks.
Yeah. Who do you guys think I would say to replace Purdy then, right?
To be honest, do you want me to be honest with you? And
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this
Yeah.
because of who's sitting next to me, but Jordan Love should be a
Love.
freaking Pro Bowler.
Yeah. If you look at the stats, it's almost identical to Matthew Stafford.
How did Jalen Hurts not get put in that mix?
Well,
He's
I
I
don't.
think Hurts is that good.
I'm sorry, but if you, to
So
be
if you
honest
look
with,
but if you're looking at the numbers though,
He's-
I get that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like it either, and I know and we can talk about this when we get into the AFC, but I don't know this name is it's hard to know if he's that good or if he's just getting lucky, but I thought Josh Allen got snubbed too a little bit. I mean, he's put up pretty good numbers this season.
He's had a lot of rough games though too.
he has
I guess
he's
Jalen Hurts
he's an
has had some
MVP.
rough games.
He's an MVP, and he's back to normal. He's the best quarterback in the league, and then he throws the dumbest interceptions I've ever seen the first game against the Jets, and they somehow lose that game when the Jets should had no business winning that game.
Yeah.
He had the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows, and that's the problem with Josh Allen. He's always like that. And then in the playoffs,
there's no consistency.
In the playoffs, he either runs into a team like the Chiefs that beats him in overtime, or he just plays absolutely atrocious and they lose.
Yeah, the thing about, I think, the Pro Bowl, it's almost all like stats.
Well,
when you watch these players play, it's so much different.
Just go through the list.
Okay.
The whole thing.
So running backs: Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, and Kyron Williams.
Good.
Fullback: Kyle Juszczyk.
Shocker.
Yeah. Wide receivers: CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Puka Nacua. Tight end: George Kittle, Sam Laporta.
Laporta, yes. Kittle.
Kittle's a really good blocker, though.
Yeah.
See, my whole thing,
not gonna go through
my whole thing with all this, and like the O-line and everything,
Yeah.
there's only 2 guys on the NFC that probably won't be in the playoffs. It's all playoff guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, obviously the teams that are going to be in the playoffs have the best players.
Yeah.
But there's guys that are on this list that
are not going to play.
Like, why are they on this list?
I don't know.
Well, and then how do they get into it with the guys that opt out of the Pro Bowl? They get reserved
a lot of them,
players.
A lot of them will.
Most of them, most of them do. If it's a team that is, out in an early round, they might play. But I mean, the Pro Bowl is not even fun to watch. It's
flag football.
Stupid. Yeah, that's what it is now. It's fucking flag football.
I mean, it's just it's just wild to me because go to the safeties. Who's on the safeties list in the NFC? Bates, okay, he's good.
Julian
Love, Notre Dame. But Harrison Smith should be on this list. He's been one of the best safeties in the league for 10 years, and he's not on this list.
And Arizona Cardinals on the list.
Buda Baker's good, but
Baker.
My whole thing is the Pro Bowl means nothing because it's just the frickin' it's like a beauty contest.
Yeah.
The All Pro, now that matters.
Yeah.
Because it's not, but I think they just pick the guys that are in the playoffs because that's like the biggest teams and the best names.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that they assume people want to watch, which I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever watched a Pro Bowl. If I'm being honest with you, I might have checked out the one from last year or 2 years ago, whenever they started doing the flag football, just to see what it was about. But even then, I'm like, this is like, it's like you're watching. I'm trying to think of other types of events where like guys are not going all out. It's like watching a preseason game.
Oh,
worse.
I mean, it's like in the NHL, their like all-star game.
Yeah, it's cool.
Those guys like aren't going all out, but it's just such a difficult sport, and like they're like they're playing flag. They're playing flag football. They're not wearing pads.
Yeah.
They're not doing that stuff. So it's not as physical. In hockey, they're still all wearing the same freaking shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to hit people.
They are.
Not as hard, but they're still going to
They might hold
be
back,
physical.
But you can hold back and still like hit somebody without injuring like a shoulder or like a leg or a knee. And I mean, the NHL and I would say like Major League Baseball too, those are fun all-star games. Even like basketball is not awful. Like, I mean, they have skills competition. They have things that are impressive to see, like hockey, like when you're shooting at the targets or whatever. Like that stuff is like some people might think like, oh well, that doesn't seem very hard, and it's like, well, actually no, it is hard, and there's a difference between like aiming and shooting. Well, I would say with hockey, aiming is, I mean, they tell you in baseball, don't aim it, throw it. If you were to I mean, it all comes down to like repetitions and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So I mean, that stuff is impressive. But for football, I mean, what do they do? Do they even do a skills competition during the Pro
I
Bowl?
think it's like
Like throwing footballs through
pretty-
fucking tires.
I
yes
think they
and
do
no.
that stuff, but I saw a video of like back in the day. I saw it because Jim Harbaugh was on it. I hate Jim Harbaugh.
Suck
But
it.
it was like the furthest, like all the quarterbacks are in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They like tried to throw the football the furthest, and they had to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stay in like.
Okay.
It was like maybe 5 yards,
Okay. Yeah.
and that the football had to like the furthest throw in that. So like Brett Favre was in it, and like why don't they do stuff like that anymore?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I
They do
don't.
obstacles now and shit.
punt,
The linemen
a
and that.
throw, punt, kick challenge.
Yeah.
Where like a guy
Yeah.
has to, you throw it as far as you can, you punt it as far as you can, then you got to kick field goal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think
do
that would be
something
cool, yeah.
like fun with it.
Creative.
Don't just be like, oh, this guy's gonna go up there and he's gonna try to throw a football through 6 different tires in the fastest time, and the winner gets nothing. No one cares.
Yeah.
You're already a winner. You're in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and all the guys are dicking around the whole. No one wants to be there.
Right.
And now it's in Vegas, so guys will go because they probably want to party out there. But before it was in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and then COVID hit, so they changed it to Vegas. I
Is
think that's when they changed it.
or is that where it is in Vegas, or it's not Miami this year for the?
Maybe they change it every year now, but I think last year was in
I
Vegas.
think it might be Vegas.
think
It's
so.
I don't remember what stadium is that?
Allegiant
Yeah, that
Raiders.
I know that's where.
But
I'm
the
assuming
Super Bowl might be there this year, so that
Yeah.
the Super Bowl is in Vegas. I'm pretty
they're gonna
sure.
make a lot of money.
I'm assuming the Pro Bowl is usually hosted in a same spot. I know that's usually what they do for the MLB All-Star. No.
No,
well,
it's changes,
obviously not,
yeah.
because you do your
They-
home field for the playoffs
Yeah.
and stuff. But
But because
I guess
I mean, it
football's
used to be in Hawaii every year, the Pro
Pro
Bowl.
Bowl.
But then they stopped doing that, and I don't know why, but maybe they tried to get like more people to maybe travel to it, because no one, like a lot of people
Well,
weren't gonna just go fly to Hawaii to watch the
Vegas
Pro Bowl.
makes
Exactly.
Vegas does make a lot of sense from a business standpoint. I mean, it's all tourists.
Yeah.
And
And I mean,
it's
Vegas is basically who runs these leagues too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So might as well have it at their
So
home.
to say,
Ask Vegas who's gonna win the Super Bowl. They know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't ask me. Ask Vegas. They know who they want in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
All right.
I just hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to compare Jordan Love and Stafford. Stafford obviously has
Also,
slightly better.
also
East made it.
Stafford missed a couple games. I
He did,
think.
he did.
So
Yeah,
I
he
think
was
so,
hurt
clear.
Was it 2 or 3?
it was 2 or 3. I don't know which.
Yeah.
in the beginning of
They've
the
also
year.
won 6 out of 7.
Yeah. So Jordan Love, 10th in passing yards. Stafford 6th with only 122 more yards passing. Jordan Love's 3rd in passing touchdowns. I think
30.
I think
Jesus.
I think Dak has 31. Purdy might have like 33, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Screen
close.
screen passes for Purdy.
Yeah, exactly,
For touchdowns.
exactly, and that's where all of his yards come.
Wheel routes for
Purdy's
Christian
got like
McCaffrey.
4,000 something yards.
Let's throw it in the flat to Christian McCaffrey and let him
Yeah.
run for 60 yards and a touchdown, so I can get all 60
Yeah,
yards passing and the touchdown.
McCaffrey's obviously the MVP of that team. There should be no question that he should, if there's a chance that a 49er gets that award, it should be Christian McCaffrey, not
Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
Well, it's gonna be
Sadly,
Lamar.
it's already over because I mean, if you look at like the odds of it, like the Vegas odds, I'm not saying they know, but they like Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's
But
up there,
I don't
yeah.
think he should win it.
Me either.
I think there's 2 guys that are better than him, more valuable to their team than Lamar Jackson,
oh yeah.
because people forget that the Ravens made the playoffs with Tyler frickin' Huntley last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was.
I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's worse or the same as Tyler. I know he's better than Tyler Huntley, but Tell me how the
Ravens-
Rams would be without Matthew Stafford. Tell me how the 49ers would be without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be as good. I don't know if the Rams
they
would be in the
proved it
playoffs. Rams would
when they
probably
played
be the number
Packers
one
with
pick.
Whoever the backup was, that proved it.
Well,
Packers,
just look at
when
look
the
at
Packers were
last
actually
year.
kind of shitty.
Look at the Rams last year.
Earlier in the year.
Stafford played not at all, or
He got
very
hurt.
little.
Yeah, I
got
think he
hurt.
played in like.
I mean,
know,
Baker
3.
Mayfield was a Ram at one point last year.
They-
He won, crazy game
changed-
against the Raiders, too,
They
I think.
changed his
Yeah,
career,
I mean-
man. The Rams changed his career.
Yeah.
Sean McVay. He should give Sean McVay half of his earnings the rest of his career because he's gonna sign some crazy contract for the Bucks probably.
And like
Unless
the
he-
like
yeah.
the Baltimore, I know we're talking about some different teams, but like Baltimore being the main one, I feel like that they got a lot of depth on that like when it comes to defense and when it comes to like guys of like, I mean, I know like Mark Andrews is. I mean, when we talk about tight ends, guys that at least score touchdowns, like Mark Andrews, and not this year, but like Kelsey's another guy that they're similar. But
Yeah.
like Isaiah Likely is a good tight end on a
Yes.
team that he wouldn't even he's tight end number 2, not really getting opportunities if Mark Andrews is healthy. So I mean, the depth on the Ravens is a reason why that. I mean, excuse me, they're always a relevant team, but this year they haven't had nearly the same amount of like stupid luck. I mean, there's been some overtime victories. But I remember previous years, last year and the year prior, the constant number of times they were losing leads and going into overtime and winning some, losing some. I mean, you're a game above 500, making the playoffs. Like this year, like everything seems to be going their way.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when you're a number one seed, like I would rather not see those teams. Like Baltimore, I like more than I like the 49ers, but I would rather see like an underdog team get far in the playoffs, and I think that would be. I don't know. It's nice to see that. Like the 49ers are a team that are always in the playoffs. I guess Baltimore from time to time is another team that's constantly in the postseason too. But I don't know. It'd be nice to see someone new this year, especially with like how poorly the Chiefs have been playing this year.
I just have a bad feeling that the Chiefs are just gonna find something and kind of go on a little run here.
I would hate to see it
Because
happen.
the AFC is
They're
so
not.
down. The AFC is so down.
It
Other than
it is and it is and it isn't. Like I always have found the AFC to be like just, and maybe it's because they just seem to have teams with more victories, but like I don't know. I feel like if the Chiefs are definitely not having the type of season you would. I don't even know if I would say the type of season you would want them to have, because, I mean, Mahomes is having a bad year. Kelsey is having a bad year. I mean, the team itself does not have a single, in my opinion, it doesn't have a single weapon on it this year. Like, I'm not impressed with really anybody. I mean, Rashee Rice is probably their best player on the team this year offensively, because Kelsey's
kinda
done
ridiculous.
jack shit.
Yeah.
maybe Pacheco. I
Pacheco's-
like
Pacheco, too.
Pacheco. Runs like a crackhead.
Pacheco, I will say Pacheco is like, I've never like considered the Chiefs to be a team that's, I mean, there's not a whole lot of really, really, really good running backs in the NFL, in my opinion. Like, I feel like you don't need to be really good. Like, if you're able to, like, I wouldn't even say like David Montgomery is a really good running back. Like, I would say Jahmyr Gibbs is way more of a freaking athlete compared to Montgomery,
Yeah.
even though Montgomery is a little bit more of like a role guy and can maybe get you up the field, but he's not going to get you 30 to 50 yards like Gibbs would. Montgomery's going to be like a 5, maybe occasional 10-yard guy, and that's it.
Yeah, he's more of a Gibbs is more of a threat.
More of a
where
threat,
you have to, like with Montgomery, if he gets the ball, like he's gonna run up the middle or he's gonna run into some guys where you can get him down. He's not gonna beat you with his speed.
Right.
But Gibbs, if he makes one guy miss, he's gone.
Yeah.
But the running back position is just so replaceable.
It is.
I'm like, why? And I understand
get
where
paid.
running backs get mad about that. How like, oh, we're not getting paid the money we deserve and everything. But that's because a team can be like, oh, we're going to have to pay this guy $20 million. Let's get rid of him and draft some guy. And he's just going to be the running back. And guess what? It's the same thing.
Exactly.
They can just continue to do that.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
just a
do that
cycle.
every 4 years, and I would never pay a running back more than a rookie contract. Unless it's like a Derrick Henry. Like, I understand, but there's no other. Like,
Not
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. McCaffrey.
But that's because he does so much more than, like, at least with the Niners he does.
The system.
It's crazy what he does.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry is the Tennessee Titans. Like, the guy throws fucking touchdown passes.
They
I
put him
don't
in
really
the
know how
Wildcat.
he's a Pro Bowler, though.
Derrick
I
Henry.
feel like he's just had a down year. But then again, the AFC lacks running backs.
I have a hard time believing that guy should be a Titan for. When are the Tennessee Titans gonna be they were relevant 2 years ago.
Yeah, they
were the best team in the AFC.
and then the year before that year, they upset the Patriots, and then they beat the Ravens, I think, that same year, and then they were in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. No,
Might have been.
I don't know who it was against. It might have been the Chiefs. I don't remember, but
they
went on a run there. Like that was when that was a year before Brady. Brady lost that year, and then he left and went to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was the Chiefs because the Chiefs went back to back, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Vrabel because I don't think the Patriots are gonna actually fire Belichick, but if they do,
yeah, he would be. The
I
next
think
guy.
that's the guy you call because it's similar. He learned under Belichick, so it's not that much different, but it's a new mind from that, and he's younger. So you can have him for, like, Belichick, you just don't know how much longer. I think right when he breaks the all-time wins record, at the end of that year, he'll be done.
Yeah.
Even if they go to the Super Bowl and lose, like, he's like, I don't care anymore. I'm
Right.
done. I think that's the only reason he's still in the league. He could have retired a long time ago if he wanted to.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at the AFC now for Pro Bowlers. Let's start with the quarterback. We got Tua, Lamar, and
Mahomes.
I honestly think
See,
C.J. Stroud.
Is this a popularity?
That's what I'm
popularity
talking about.
contest?
That's what I'm talking about with this
Mahomes
crap.
has had not a good fucking season.
He'll
at
be
all.
a Pro Bowler every year of his career because they know, like, oh, he's got all these, like, they'll make money. They'll make money for him going there because of sponsorships or some crap.
Or his jersey sales or
some crap like that. There's
top 2, and it's like
no reason he should be a Pro Bowler. Gardner Minshew should be a Pro Bowler over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at or Stroud.
Stroud has had a good year.
I'm pretty sure that game decides who gets in the playoffs tomorrow, right?
So,
or do
if
they need
Jacksonville wins, they win the division. And then
yeah. So essentially,
I think
if Jacksonville loses, whoever wins that game would be the division winner. And then it's just going to come down to who else is winning or losing to see who gets that that wild card spot.
If the Steelers win,
last one at least.
If the Steelers win and the Bills lose, the Steelers are in. If the Bills win, they win the division. Dolphins are already in. But the Bills can lose and still make the playoffs if the Steelers lose, and I think that other game needs to end in a tie or some crap. The Texans, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's crazy freaking crap, but I know that if the Bills lose and the Steelers win, the Steelers are in, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Because it'd be funny.
For running backs, Mostert, I think, is James Cook and Derrick Henry. I don't know.
James Cook. James Cook is.
He's had a good year.
He had a really good game against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you have like a crazy game recently, you're gonna later in the season, they're gonna give it to you. Mostert, 100%.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry's just on a horrible team, so
is.
no one watches the Titans. So
No.
other than Titans fans and whoever they're playing, like no one is like tuning in. Like, oh, let's go see what the Titans are doing.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a team that I will say, like, I like seeing Levis play because for the longest time, I've never thought Tannehill was really anything special. But, like, it was kind of cool they got DeAndre Hopkins on that team, too, who, I mean, I don't know. That guy comes from a shit team, the Arizona Cardinals, and then he's on another shit team. I mean, Hopkins is a good player, and you got to find some sort of way to get him the ball, which I think he has. He's had those opportunities this year, but not nearly as much as you'd think. I mean, I don't know. That team is weak. It's just you got some good players on it that are just seeming to be wasted. And I mean, every team is like that. I mean, I'd say the team that, in my opinion, that is so all around bad is the Atlanta Falcons. All around bad.
Yeah, they don't really have anyone.
Besides Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, besides
that's the only guy you got. I mean, you don't got a quarterback.
They don't use Bijan Robinson
No.
anyways, really. But
Yeah.
no, I think the only reason the Falcons are bad is because of quarterback play.
Yeah,
I think if you take
their quarterback
if
situation
you
sucks.
put a better quarterback on their team,
Justin Fields. There's talks.
him being a better quarterback than Desmond Ritter,
For him
yeah,
going to the Falcons?
he's probably a better
Trades.
quarterback, but I don't think Justin Fields can like take you over the hump.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can win you a Super Bowl the way he plays.
I don't even think I can see that team anytime soon getting back to one. I mean, who?
You can win a division. Like Mitchell Trubisky
Well,
won
that-
the freaking division with the Bears. Like
Yeah,
it's not that if you have a bad.
That division is bad too. It's
There's
bad.
like the year the Bears won that division, the division was bad. Rodgers got hurt,
Yep.
and then he was out the whole year. The Lions were the real Lions back then. Now they're this new team. The Vikings were bad. So
Yeah.
then the Bears come in, and then they lose on the double doink. And
Yep.
but
To
That
the
division's
team
gonna
that
be
ended up
great
winning
next year,
to
by the way.
Carson Wentz.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I think
Actually,
that
no, it was Nick Foles because Wentz got
Yeah,
hurt.
Wentz got hurt.
next year, if the Vikings keep Kirk Cousins and the Lions have their guys back, and the Packers stay where they are and
Yep.
get a little bit better, and the Bears keep Justin Fields, that division's I think
gonna
will be the best division in football.
I think so too.
And
Yeah.
but that's like all of them can make the playoffs because like most of them can make the playoffs based on because you only play your division two times each. So, but that's a division where it's going to be hard to win.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a low unless injuries happen, but I don't know. And if you bring in another rookie quarterback, if the Bears do that, they're screwed because he's going to be playing against all these good teams in his division
Here's the thing, though.
and losing all the games like Justin Fields had to go through.
Yeah.
Ryan Poles was with the Chiefs when they moved on with Alex Smith and got Patrick Mahomes. Started
Yeah.
him.
And no one
I
expected him
think
to do
for
that.
exactly. So I think whatever happens with the Bears, they should be happy because this guy knows at this position the Bears are in what to do.
Does he know?
And if I think so.
Who's Patrick Mahomes in the draft? I don't
This
know.
year, did people think Patrick Mahomes was going to be like this?
No, I don't think anyone
If
did.
you-
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
If you look,
But-
if you get him the right, if people knew that Andy Reid would be able to succeed with Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes because of what he threw for freaking 5,000 yards in college, like in
I
a
know.
season, like he was
Yeah.
unreal in college. But his
A lot
team
of-
sucked. Texas Tech is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not a good, like, good football program. But I don't. I think Patrick Mahomes should have been the fact that Mitch Trubisky, he was the first quarterback taken in that draft.
Yeah. Do you think if Mahomes was on the Bears, he'd be this good?
No, I think Andy Reid
Okay.
helps Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
If Patrick Mahomes did not have Andy Reid, I don't think he'd be where he is right now.
Okay.
I think the
I can
Bears
see
would
that.
be. I wouldn't say the Bears would be like good, but like I think they would have more consistency if Mahomes. I'm not saying that he's a guy that solves problems. Just, I mean, good quarterbacks in the NFL, which I mean, the quarterback position is so fucking hard. Like a good quarterback can make a mediocre team at least average enough to like maybe finish a game under or a game above 500.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Mahomes is great, but I could see the Bears being at least more consistent with, I mean, listen, the Bears are, Justin Fields is putting the organization in a really tough spot right now, which good for
That's
him.
a good thing, though. I think.
But it's also good for him. Like you're proving you're worth something. But like shit, last game against Atlanta, I think they played.
Yeah.
I'm like listening to these guys and they're already talking like Fields is gone.
The announcers were literally on the broadcast talking about how the Falcons want Justin Fields and like maybe other teams
Yeah.
want him and how they're going to get rid of him because they have the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But they're
I hope
but
it happens.
I mean, I've heard Atlanta, I've heard Pittsburgh. These are all rumors, of course.
that'd
but
be
like,
an interesting one. But I don't think Kenny Pickett is any good. So, but like, I think that's just where football is now.
yeah.
I don't think there's really any quarterbacks that are really that good. Like the whole thing, like when Brady was in the league, they said he was so good that you could put him on other teams
And
he would succeed there. And he wanted to prove to people by yes, the Bucks had an unreal roster. But he wanted to prove that he could leave somewhere and go win somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I love Joe Montana. He went to Kansas City and he didn't win there. He went to the AFC Championship, but he lost. Like he didn't win another Super Bowl there. If he would have won another Super Bowl that's just unreal. Because the 49ers gave up on him and said, "No, we got Steve Young now. We'll win still. So see ya." But like that's what the Patriots did too. They were like, would we rather have Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? They chose Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick wanted to be gone with Brady, so they brought in this so-called Brady clone, Mac Jones, and he just hasn't panned out. But I think Mac Jones just doesn't have anybody around him.
When Mac Jones came in
And made the playoffs his first year.
and then what remember when was Cam Newton on the Patriots? Mac Jones got hurt? Is that what happened? Because Cam Newton was a Patriot.
No, that was the year before they got Mac Jones, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, because
So they signed Cam Newton.
and
And they
they
finished like they were like a game.
8-8 or something like that.
It was like a game or two under, and
They were the 15th pick or something. They took Mac Jones.
then wasn't Cam didn't he end up back on Carolina?
Yeah.
He scored. I remember he scored
Yeah.
a touch. He's like,
I'm
I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Then he's
Shut
gone.
the fuck up,
I'm
dude.
back.
Your stupid ass
Yeah,
hair,
man, he-
looking like the fucking Weekend and shit.
yeah,
The bird's nest on your damn head.
he was wearing like headdresses and shit.
Dude, yeah,
like
he's-
the freaking
he's
like
weird.
cloth stuff. Like he's from like Big Mama's house too or something.
He's fucking weird.
No, I just think the NFL. I don't think the quarterback play is that.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I think if you put if for the younger quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes is probably like the best out of the younger ones. If you put him in an era where they had Joe Montana and Dan Marino and all those guys, I don't think you would know who the hell Patrick Mahomes is.
No.
yeah.
I think it's just the era that we're in is so. I think the best quarterbacks in the league are all the older guys because they still know how they're not doing this new age thing
Yeah.
where we have to run freaking 15 times as a quarterback and take all these dumb hits because I don't think you can win that way.
Yeah.
It hasn't proven that you can win that way. Mike Vick never won a Super Bowl, did he?
Just killed dogs.
Patrick Mahomes, yeah, well, we don't have to get into that.
Euthanasia.
Patrick Mahomes, he runs a little bit, but I just don't think he's as good of a passer as an Aaron Rodgers, a Matthew Stafford, a Kirk Cousins. Like those are the guys that I think are the best in the league because they can still leave the pocket and scramble for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards, but they're gonna stay in the pocket, move the pocket. They're gonna do things to still get the ball down the field, and like I just don't think Mahomes can do that, and I think that this year proves it.
I do think Mahomes is a little, and this doesn't necessarily mean that this doesn't make him better, but like I do think that he is more of a slick mover as opposed to like maybe a guy like Josh Allen, and that's what like, and I see if because I think people have compared Mahomes to Rodgers. I'm not saying that they're the exact same person, but I mean, Rodgers is obviously not the most athletic guy, but he's got the smarts. I wouldn't say Mahomes is as smart as Aaron Rodgers, but I do think that Mahomes shows like Rodgers-like qualities when he's able to move and still release the ball and not necessarily run with it. But there are things about Mahomes that, and I've seen a lot of guys this year do this for some reason, but like I don't understand like when these quarterbacks are running and they're not over that line of scrimmage and you're still got a lot of time. You telling me no one's open, you're just gonna run for a fucking yard and get out of bounds?
Usually everyone's almost open.
I think
too.
these guys are
no
open.
one's ever open.
But they haven't put themselves in a position to throw a football. And, like, there's a guy open running across the field this way, and he's running this way, and then he has to completely turn cross-body, and that's so dangerous of a throw that he'd rather just take the 1 or 2 yards and go out of bounds.
Yeah.
But I think Patrick Mahomes, when he had Tyreek Hill, he had, like, a prime Travis Kelce. I don't think he's out of his prime necessarily, but he just hasn't been as good.
Yeah, it's like Tim Tebow right now.
But
when he's the center of attention.
I think that he could do these off-schedule plays because how are you going to guard Tyreek Hill for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
You're not.
No.
You might be able to guard him for the first 5 seconds, and then once Mahomes gets out of the pocket and starts doing crazy crap, and then Tyreek Hill's going to end up being open. He's going to throw it down the field, and then he's going to score a touchdown.
Yep. Tyreek Hill accelerates. He's a freak.
But, I mean, that's what Andy Reid's offense is. It's gadgets and, like, off-schedule plays. Like, when Mike Vick played for Andy Reid, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just all these crazy, like, the play, they're going to run some gadget, and then they're going to run a play. If the play's not working, the quarterback's going to run around, do all this crap, and then he's going to roll out of the pocket. There's going to be a guy wide open, and then Andy Reid looks like some offensive genius. When it's really just plays breaking down, and that's how they're scoring. Mm-hmm. That's how the Chiefs scored the whole year.
Yeah.
Show me a drive where Patrick Mahomes went in the game from the 5-yard line and drove down the field and scored a touchdown on like 15 plays. That didn't happen.
No.
But watch out for them because for some reason, I have a feeling that they're going to find a way to win some games.
So they're gonna get hot.
If the Bills win the division and the Dolphins have to play the freaking Chiefs in the first round in Arrowhead,
yeah,
it's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
And then they're going to win that game. They're going to have some confidence. They're going to be a 3 seed, so then they'll play the, 2?
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the 2 seed game. Who's the Bills?
Yeah, it'd be
at Buffalo, though. That's who's it's Bills or Dolphins.
Yeah,
are going to be the 2 seed.
I think the Browns could also.
I don't know.
I don't.
There's too much hype around them.
There is
Joe
too much
Flacco.
hype, but
like, I'm not saying Joe Flacco's bad, but they're talking about how, like, he's the Browns in the playoffs. They might have a shot this year because the AFC's so bad, and then they're gonna get. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna play they're gonna be the 5 seed, the Browns.
I think so.
So they'll play the Jags. Maybe they can win that game.
Oh yeah.
But then they'll play the Ravens.
Suck.
Then they'll play the Ravens.
Yeah, they
Divisional matchup though.
2 great defenses though.
I think that's why the Ravens are good though. Is
Me
their
too.
defense?
That's
I don't
what I
think
think.
that. Like, yeah, they're winning blowout games, but that's because their defense is
They're not
just
allowing
dominating.
points. Yeah.
Yeah, they occasionally will put up like big offensive points, but there's been games that have been pretty close, and I mean,
that Chargers game, that was kind of close, right?
well, like
We were watching. It
Lump-
ended
Is
up.
that Thursday night?
Yeah, it was a Thursday night game. It was close at the beginning.
Lamar
think. I
Jackson
could be
too has noted in some of these victories, and it might have been that one where
Yeah, it was like 13-10 at one point. They scored that
that's I think and
Yeah.
I think they ended up winning like 20
20-10.
to 10.
It
Yeah,
was like 13-10, and they scored that last touchdown. Zay Flowers.
yeah, that was against the Chargers.
Sunday night.
It was Sunday
Well,
night.
Lamar Jackson did give a shout out to the defense in that game too. So I mean, the defense has definitely kept them in games.
Letting the
I mean,
Chargers score 10 points is kind of upsetting.
That just shows you how bad some of these quarterbacks are.
I know.
It's because all these
That-
quarterbacks are hurt though. But
that team pissed me off just as much as probably more than the Jets. Actually, no, I don't know. The Chargers are a team that should not have been as bad as they were. I do think that they. I know they don't have a good defense, but
they supposedly had they had one of the best rosters in football going into the
Yeah,
year.
they
They
did.
were saying.
And the
I
biggest
mean-
payroll, I think, too. Highest
the
payroll.
the offense though, like
Spent the most money.
I mean,
dog shit.
Eckler, I don't know how you just don't hand the ball to him the rest of the
I know.
season after fucking Herbert got hurt.
I don't know.
I mean, you got some no-name guys on that team too that can get the job done offensively.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, and I like Justin Herbert. I don't know how good he is. I know he's their franchise guy, and he's got a lot of good qualities. I mean, he's got a strong arm. He can move. But I mean, he seems to be somewhat of a smart player too. But like, I don't know if coaching staff can ruin some of these guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Staley's bad, man.
very bad.
Bad. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be the coach of the Chargers
so,
next
too.
year.
Ooh, Harbaugh,
so,
huh?
too.
Okay.
I think they'll pay him like $150 million or something
Yeah.
because he
He likes
loves Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
He sucks his dick. All right.
So, do we think? Are the Bears gonna hang on to Eberflus?
Yeah. They already made
Sadly.
that decision.
That's it.
Practically.
I think if they hang on to Eberflus, they won't draft a new quarterback.
I think that would be smart because
Right.
see, this has been the Bears' problem. So they hang on to Matt Nagy a year too long, right? And they drafted Fields,
Yeah.
and they have Nagy still.
And
And then they fire Nagy, and they get a brand new coach. And that's what they've done, where
Yeah.
they keep a coach too long, and their rookie quarterback is learning under that system, and then all of a sudden the whole staff changes. So now the rookie quarterback is restarting in year 2, doing the same crap he had to do in year 1
Right.
to learn, and they're like, they will never. I think if they keep Eberflus, they should keep Justin Fields
Yeah.
but they're going to keep him. I don't think they're going to fire him. But
Yeah, I don't
Eric
think so either.
Bieniemy would be a good coach, I think, head coach, if the Bears actually wanted to hire an offensive guy.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if the Bears fans would want that because Bieniemy is an Andy Reid guy, and Matt Nagy
Yeah,
was
Matt
an
Nagy
Andy
was
Reid guy, so they're
too,
going to just
yeah.
be like, oh, same old, which
Yeah,
they might not be wrong, but I think Bieniemy he'll be a head coach somewhere, I think.
Yeah. All right. Next one is, who's the current best quarterbacks in the league right now? Of all the league, not just NFC. I don't think besides
Across the board.
AFC,
All of them. AFC, NFC, like just top 3 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can go first, 'cause
All right.
I know you have it.
Top 3. What injuries? Are we
No.
taking account injuries?
No.
Because
No.
2 of the best quarterbacks in the league are injured.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of them, I think. I mean, Joe Burrow's hurt. I think Joe Burrow is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burrow,
Rodgers is hurt. Kirk Cousins is hurt. But I won't include them.
Okay, so not injury.
Matthew Stafford. And this is no order. I'll just name 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Matthew Stafford. Guess I'll go Stafford, Dak, Prescott, and I'll go Lamar Jackson, even though I just can't. I'll go Lamar Jackson. I'll give him his props, but I think if without injuries, I think he's not even top 5. Like
Lamar,
if you
yeah.
bring Aaron Rodgers in and Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow and Herbert's healthy, even though I don't think Herbert's
I
that
don't
good,
think so either.
but I think he's a better quarterback than Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is helped by a lot of other things,
Uh-huh.
but I'll go Stafford, Dak, and Lamar.
Alright.
CJ Stroud's up there too. I think he's been pretty
Yeah,
good.
I just think
He's
just
a
like-
rookie. You can't put him in there,
Exactly.
but he's been very impressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, with a question like that, it's like hard to, like Stroud has had a good season, and you could even argue like some of these other guys that maybe weren't relevant as much in the past or having good years, but like you want to pick guys that at least have shown that they can be pretty consistent. Like I do think Stafford's on my list too. I think that it's been nice to like see what he's been able to accomplish as a Ram. And like this year especially, like I mean the Rams are a good team.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
and I do think that Sean McVay's a good coach. I can't say I
Miami
like the
alone.
guy. He kind of annoys me. He's a little out there. He's got a 12-year-old haircut.
All those guys are though, like the Shanahan
Yeah.
tree guys, like Kyle Shanahan, Mike
LaFleur.
McDaniel,
Yeah,
LaFleur, McVay. Those guys are all kind of weird, quirky dudes.
Did you guys see that thing on Hard Knocks? He's like, yeah, fuck you, Dad. Come for your records, Dad. Fuck your records to Dan Marino.
Oh
on the
yeah, I saw
sideline.
that. Yeah, I saw that.
Fuck your records, Dan.
We're coming for your records.
I do like I like McDaniel.
Yeah, me too.
How can you, as a football player though, how can you take him seriously?
I know,
Like he's up there talking in a meeting room, and he's like, "This motherfuck this," and
He
you
kinda
guys
looks
got to
like
do
Nick
this
Kroll.
and do that, and you're sitting there like, I understand you're gonna have respect for a guy because he's the coach
Yeah.
and he's earned that, but it's hard to take him seriously.
It
They're a
is.
weird. I find the team to be kind of weird when you see it on Hard Knocks. Like all those guys, like
Just wearing capris and shit.
yeah, like
Fucking
it's
weird, man.
It's interesting, but it's hard for me to like pick the best quarterbacks. I do think Stafford's
it's a weird
on there.
year too.
I do think Mahomes should be on my list. I'm going to put him on my list. I wouldn't put him at number 1. I don't even know if I'd put him at 2. I'd probably put Mahomes, then Stafford. And I guess if we're going off of who's having a good year. I'd probably put Lamar on that list too if we're going like top 3 guys. But if a healthy Rodgers is on that list,
It's
I
probably
would
one.
I would say Burrow is a healthy Burrow's got to be on that list too. Part of me did think Trevor Lawrence for a second. I did want to put him somewhere on there, but
He's been bad, man.
he hasn't had a good that team. That's another team that I feel like they've got a lot of potential too, and a lot of good quality players on it. But then I don't know, like you see a guy like Evan Ingram, their tight end. I know he's a veteran, but like out of nowhere, he's scoring touchdowns. Like, what took you guys so long? It's the same thing with Cole Kmet on the Bears. Like, what took you guys so long to give this guy the fucking ball? Like, stop throwing it to the same people all the time.
I think it took
Use your
no.
team.
I think that's on the quarterback more because I think the quarterback, like especially when you have a younger quarterback, they go for like the bigger name guys and they'll throw to them because they'll trust them to do something rather than like I think some of these guys just want to make the big play so often. Where like that's what Fields would do in his beginning of his career. He would try to throw the ball downfield and throw some bad passes
to whoever was
Allen Robinson, I think, was their number one back then.
Yeah.
And look at him now. He's not even relevant.
But they didn't want to. Oh, let's just check down to the tight end and gain 5 yards here. But that's what's needed. You need to do that.
Yeah.
You have to spread the ball, and that's what the 49ers do. They spread the ball out. Like Brock Purdy does do that, but I think that has more to do with the system.
Yeah.
That Kyle Shanahan telling him, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to work our way down the field and score a touchdown. We're not trying to go big play, bam, 60-yard touchdown. Like, we're not trying to use Debo as like a Tyreek Hill where we're just going to frickin' throw him the ball deep and he's going to catch it and go because he's so fat. Like, they're going to work their way down the field, old school type stuff, and go score a touchdown.
I'm trying to remember this exactly because the more I think about it, like I remember when Jimmy Graham was on the Bears, they used him in the red zone. He scored a lot of touchdowns. Was Zach Miller a tight end too? The guy that like broke his leg?
Oh yeah, he was on the Bears.
That was another guy.
It was against the Saints. He had that nasty injury.
I think that might have pretty much ended his career too.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's hard for me to like think of like those aren't like guys that really jump out to you to be like, oh, those are guys. Like obviously like DJ Moore jumps out to you like he's a good player on the Bears. Yeah. I would even say now that they've been using Cole Kmet more, like, okay, you have another guy to throw the ball to, you can pretty much rely on him. He catches the ball.
Yep.
He can move up the field. I mean, he's a monster. But like sometimes I wonder, like, what takes you so long? Like, you can't throw the ball to DJ Moore all the time. Like, Darnell Mooney is a guy that I think people used to think was underutilized.
He sucks.
He's nobody now. So, like,
the thing is, when they can't give the ball to DJ Moore, they cannot rely on anyone else.
They can just rely on Fields.
Exactly.
And I will say,
because Mooney can't. Mooney sucks. I actually like Tyler Scott, but he sucks too.
I mean,
he's like a 3. He's nothing. They need like a legitimate number 2 or a legitimate number 1 because DJ Moore can be flirting with the number 1, number 2. Mm-hmm. He could be if he was a number 2 and they had a unreal receiver, they'd be very good. But DJ Moore, if he's going to be your number 1, you have to go get a big body receiver like a Gabe Davis, someone like that in the offseason. Like a T. Higgins, like somebody like that's going to go get a ball too, rather than just relying on his route running skills. So, and both of them are free agents. So if the Bears, and they got the money to spend, so if they want to be serious and they keep Fields, they need to go get a Gabe Davis, a legitimate freaking receiver that's going to go up and win a 50-50 ball because they don't have that.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney ain't going to do that for you.
No.
He's not.
DJ Moore really ain't going to do that. He's going to run great routes, and if you throw him the ball in the right spot, he's going to come down with it, but he's not going to go up with a corner that's 6 foot and try to win a 50-50 ball. That's not what he does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of receivers that don't do that, but you need a guy to do that.
Yeah.
Like Devontae.
And Cole Kmet really is that guy for them, even though they don't do it as much because they just scheme him open.
Mhm.
But guys do that with tight ends where they're just going to throw the ball up to the tight end, and he's going to win the battle.
Yeah.
They don't have that guy. Cole Kmet could do that, but they don't have a guy to do that. So who's your top quarterback?
3.
Yeah.
I have an order.
In order, if you want. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3?
I'll do 1, 2, 3. So at 1, I got Dak Prescott.
Appreciate that. Dak's good,
I think
man.
he is the best.
He's good.
I think he is a.
He's having a good season.
So-
this
He
year.
actually has the most touchdowns.
So-
he passed Purdy, by the way. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Okay,
But yeah, he
so
has more.
last year he turned the ball over a lot, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
Only 8
interceptions,
only 8 this
and
year.
he said that was an anomaly. Like that, it's just one of those years where nothing was going my way, and everyone was like, "Are we sure about that? He's gonna
Mhm.
same thing's gonna happen this year. He ain't doing that this year.
Nope.
Last year
Only 8 interceptions.
he might have led the league in interceptions last year,
I think so.
and they
He had a
still
lot.
made the playoffs.
He had a lot.
But yeah, yeah. All right, who's 2?
2, I have Matt Stafford. Just a guy who runs that team, I think. If you don't have that's how I look at the quarterback position.
If you don't
the
have a veteran,
valuability.
they need that veteran, and the fact that it's a quarterback is
Yeah.
good for them.
Exactly.
If they didn't have that, they would not be where they are.
That's why I think he's so important. And that's kind of what I base my rankings off is how important a
Importance to
quarterback
the team.
is. Exactly. Because that's what I think a quarterback is.
It's true.
Yeah.
You need a guy to trust to run the system, and
Exactly.
McVay can call a play, but Matthew Stafford can also be like, all right, after seeing their everything going on the field, they can be like, they're running a zone here. We don't really like this play. Let's check out of it. And they trust Matthew Stafford to do that. You're not going to trust a rookie quarterback to do that
Yeah.
with all the rookies around him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford's going to get guys lined up where they need to be lined up.
But that's where, for my number 3, when you talk about rookies, I do have Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. I had a
No-
feeling he was going to be on that list.
So he can't
He-
win Rookie of the Year, right?
No.
Even though technically
technically
speaking,
is his
he
rookie
is a
season.
rookie because he really hasn't played much.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He's 3rd in passing touchdowns.
In the league.
And that's not counting his rushing.
he really hasn't turned the ball over as much as
He
I.
hasn't.
But
Because right now, I think he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's only thrown 1 interception in the last 6 games.
who they played though?
Who have they played? Let's see.
Like I know they had that Chiefs win. Go to
Yeah, the
game log.
that
Go to
Chiefs
game logs.
Chiefs, Lions,
I mean, they
And they
played.
Minnesota, Carolina,
They beat Detroit on
Tampa Bay, Giants.
Yeah, so these 2 wins, Detroit and Kansas City, those are good. Like Thanksgiving, they
That was
That was the Thanksgiving.
worked them,
Yeah.
but they only won by 7.
Yeah.
I felt like they dominated that game, but was
Yeah.
it out of reach and the Lions scored, or
I think so. I think it was Lions were a touchdown within a few minutes left.
That was the
It was like
Thanksgiving
29.
game.
yeah, Chiefs? Yeah,
Like
they.
15 or some
they-
shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by that at all for some reason.
Yeah.
The Chiefs won. But the Giants' loss was bad. But he threw a pick in that game, right?
The Chiefs? Yeah, that was.
No, the Giants.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That was just
And he had a fumble.
That game was weird.
That was.
They
weird.
shouldn't have lost that game. Bucks,
Yeah, the Bucks. That should have been a win, but defense didn't show up.
yeah. I think he's a good
Baker
quarterback. It's a little early for you to say he's a top 3
I know, but
quarterback.
if you look at his weapons around, he's got none.
Yeah, I think they need to go get a receiver.
Yeah.
Which is why I want
That-
Gabe Davis.
That maybe he'll stay healthy.
Exactly.
Because they don't have any receivers that stay healthy.
Bo Melton signed from the practice squad. Just scored, I think, 2 touchdowns against the Vikings.
They have good young guys, but they don't have they need to go get a big name guy like they used to have with Devontae
Yeah.
Adams.
It's good though that they have all these young guys,
But they
'cause they
need
can all get better together.
you need a
and be
guy
dangerous.
you need an older veteran guy that Jordan Love can
Yeah,
trust
for
late in
sure.
games, and
For sure.
I don't know. I think he's good, but I think it's a little early for top
Oh.
3.
I'm just saying as of right now, I think. 'Cause this is right now.
Yeah, I know right now what you're saying, but
I do think the NFC has the top 3 best quarterbacks.
I think the NFC is clearly better than the AFC,
Clearly.
top to bottom.
Easily. In every
Even though
position, probably. Maybe besides wide
I
receiver. with
maybe
Tyreek.
not top to bottom, but playoff teams.
Yeah.
Because I think there's lower seeds in the NFC that could mess around and win some games.
Yeah.
In the AFC, I don't really see it.
Me
And obviously you don't know
inconsistency.
if the
Lot of
Bills
inconsistency,
Bills are
AFC.
going to win the division or not, but if the Bills don't win the division, yeah, they're probably a good lower seed, but they have to go on the road.
Yeah.
Being the Bills and being the 2 seed is very important because teams have to go to Buffalo. Who knows? There could be 30 inches of snow the night before because it's Buffalo. You never know.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
a
the
massive
worst.
home field.
That's the worst. That's got to be the worst place to have to play Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
You
And
get the worst weather, probably field conditions.
Green Bay's got to be up there
Green
too,
Bay's-
dude.
Yeah, Green Bay is pretty bad too.
Middle
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Can agree or disagree with me on this because I see some similarities between these two guys, even though one of them has been in the league longer. Dak Prescott and Tua. I feel like
Yeah.
if I had to pick who I would want on my team, I would probably pick Dak.
Yeah. I can kind of see what you're saying.
Those teams are pretty this year. They're very similar. They both put up tons
Yeah.
of points. The defenses are both
They
good.
both play better at home than
Both
they
play
do on the
better at home.
road.
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like, are a team that I don't know if it's an advantage for. I mean, it's Dallas. It's not like Buffalo, but sometimes I wonder, like playing inside, like is that like for your home games? Sure, and I mean, I get it. Miami's, you're playing in nice weather for your home games. You dominate in those those just the months in general that are like Miami is a team that seems to do really good in the fall when they're at home just because the weather might be on their side.
And
I mean,
to be honest with you, a couple of those games they had earlier in the year it was like still 90 degrees down there, and they're playing, and guys are getting on the other team are getting tired, man.
Yeah,
It's hot.
you're not used to that. That heat is unbearable.
And it's not
You know?
like in Miami. It's probably humid as shit too.
Yeah.
So but I think that with the Cowboys, I think it's just like they're in their own locker room. Their same routine happening when they're at home, where when you're on the road, it just completely messes with them. And some of the games are playing outside. Some of the games like I think they're just better at home. You're going to be better at home than you are on the road, but their splits of home and away are completely different.
Yep.
It's such a big difference. The team is a completely different team. They turn the ball over more on the road. They do dumb crap more on the road than they do at home. Like, they lose in Philadelphia to the Eagles on the road when they should have won the game, but they gave the game away multiple times. And then they play them at home and just stomp them.
Yeah. If they win that game,
Well,
they win it. This week wouldn't matter for them.
Yeah, if the Cowboys win this week, they win the division.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
And if the Packers
key.
win, they'll play each other in the playoffs.
Like, the Cowboys need home field in 2 of the games. They need to play the first week at home and the second week at home.
Yep.
Because then you win those 2 games, you're on the roll a little bit, and then who knows? The 49ers could get up. Say they get upset and you get to play a lower seed. Then you get a home game in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
They could lose to the Rams.
you never know. Rams are hot. Division game. This will be the third time they'd play if they played in the playoffs.
Yep.
I will say that's another thing I have seemed to have noticed a little bit more with the NFC. These teams that are in the running to try to get a wild card spot have been like consistently on like a hot streak, whereas these AFC teams, there's a lot of inconsistency. I mean, the Steelers, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph,
You know,
man.
Like
good.
that's just the first
Decent,
team
not
that comes to my
Yeah.
mind is a team like Pittsburgh that is they just find ways to win. I do think again, Mike Tomlin.
They're the same
is a
team
good
every
coach.
year.
Yeah.
Like they are a team every year since like maybe the last
They're missing a
2
quarterback.
years of Big Ben.
Yeah.
They've been the same team every year. They're
Yep.
average, flirting with the playoffs. Same team
Yeah.
every year.
Yep.
Sad because the Steelers organization, they need to get back in the playoffs and be good
Yeah.
again for the NFL.
Okay. Now, who's the deadliest of the lower seeds? So, who do you think could win some upset games and make their way to the second round, maybe third, maybe the Super Bowl?
Rams, because I think they're going to play
And
the
that-
Lions. I think they're playing the Lions. They're
Yeah,
most likely
Lions.
going to play the Lions in the first
And that's
round.
going to be awesome.
Matthew Stafford back in Detroit against Jared Goff and the
and
Lions.
Stafford,
I
gonna
hope
fuck
the
him up.
Rams just dominate them. That would be awesome.
that would be sweet.
I don't mind the Lions. I like Dan Campbell, but
I don't like Dan Campbell anymore.
I don't-
A little crybaby.
I don't mind Detroit either, but I'd rather see the Rams beat them.
oh yeah,
There's something about the Lions that I don't know, like I don't know, man. Jared Goff, I started to kind of like him a little bit. He's not good.
very inconsistent, dude.
Yeah.
He's got one of the weakest fucking arms I've ever seen on a quarterback too. Like he throws the ball like a pussy.
Yeah,
Like-
him in L.A. with McVay, he did similar things that like Brock Purdy does, where like
Yeah.
they just kind of work the ball down the field. Where with Matthew Stafford on the Rams, they're like taking shots now and throwing the ball
Yeah.
down the field because he has a way better arm.
Yeah,
But I just want Matthew Stafford to go back to Detroit and
and win.
win because of what that organization did to him.
Exactly.
That organization never helped him.
No,
Never.
Nope.
And the fact that he had to go somewhere else to win a Super Bowl and for people to be like, oh, he's actually a good quarterback is pathetic.
yeah,
I know.
Because he has been a good quarterback his whole career.
I
They just,
agree.
no one talked about him because he's on the bad Lions.
yeah.
Exactly.
Similar fallout with Rodgers and the Packers. I feel like they were another organization that didn't want to listen to him. Like, stop drafting these like defensive guys or whatever. Like, can you please like draft me some fucking weapons?
They never drafted him
You
a
know?
receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
Yeah.
we're not going to take a receiver when they could have taken a lot of receivers that they would love to have. And they never would do it.
Yeah,
They drafted a quarterback without even telling them they were going to draft a quarterback. He didn't know they were going to draft Jordan Love. And he
I know.
drafted him in the first round.
I know.
Everyone was talking about how they were going to draft a wide receiver. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, what? Jordan Love?
yeah,
Yeah.
Are they going to get rid of
It's hard.
Rodgers? And that's, I mean, same thing happened to Brett Favre, though, too. They didn't tell him about Rodgers, and they got Rodgers,
Yeah.
and then he learned. And that's just what, and that's fine. But if you go Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now you're going to go to Jordan Love, if Jordan Love is anywhere near what those two guys are, Packers will be fine. They just
Yeah.
need some more weapons.
I agree.
I think the Packers could,
They've never really had weapons though.
Devontae Adams,
Besides Devontae.
Jordy Nelson,
Jordy Nelson wasn't that good. Randall Cobb wasn't that
Greg
good.
Jennings.
Greg Jennings was decent.
Randall Cobb's just like a possession guy. He's not,
He is.
but Greg Jennings was good.
Yeah.
I think the Packers could, not if they play the Cowboys. I don't think they could match up with the Cowboys.
I just think, man.
I think the Cowboys.
History's gonna repeat itself. CeeDee Lamb's not gonna catch it. You know what I mean? Like Daz.
So the NFL is going to rig the games
Yeah.
like they did.
I
I
think
don't
the
think the
AFC
Packers match up well against the
I
Cowboys.
know. I
yeah.
could see
I don't.
that.
I don't either.
I think that pass rush against Packers offensive line is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like I think they might dominate them.
Especially if it's.
But
that
I
game
hope
is
the
gonna
Packers
be
But
in
what
make
if
it.
Aaron
Dallas.
Jones runs all over him like a bunch of these players have been doing, these running backs against the Cowboys?
I don't think that's gonna happen though.
No?
I think the Cowboys have made the adjustments needed to fix that.
I don't think
I think they just didn't expect the Bills to genuinely run the ball 40 times.
Yeah, I know.
Because all they do the whole year is rely on Josh Allen to run and just sling
Yeah.
it down the field. And the Bills knew that we don't have they have the corners to hurt us if we throw the ball, and Josh Allen does turn the ball over a lot. So let's run it 40 times. They're not expecting it, and they dominated them
Exactly.
because they didn't make adjustments.
I don't think any team in the or lower seed in the AFC is really dangerous.
Colts,
besides-
no. Jags, no.
I mean,
Bills, maybe.
Maybe.
Steelers, if they can muck up a game,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they could.
Yeah.
Same with the Texans.
If they mucked
Yeah,
up a
but
but it's
game,
not official yet.
like
who's
if the
making it.
Steelers played the Jags, which I don't think they wouldn't, they would play the 2 seed, which is
Dolphins.
I don't think they could beat them. But if they played like a Jags team with like their offense isn't as good and they can muck up the game and just make it a physical battle, the Steelers could win. But I don't. Against the Dolphins, I don't know how they would match up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know if they would be able to have enough offense. But who knows?
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind the Steelers making the playoffs, but the Browns, I guess you can consider them they're a 5 seed. I think they are probably the best chance of beating the Ravens.
The Bills.
No, the Browns.
The Browns. Yeah.
But I think they have the
Rivalry.
best chance of beating the Ravens
Out of the lower.
out of all the teams in the AFC. But like I don't think they can make it to the Super Bowl because I think the other teams don't match up against the Ravens as well, but they would match up against the Browns well.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I think if the Browns beat the Ravens, it's gonna open up for the Chiefs. Like I don't think the Chiefs could beat the Ravens, but I think if the Ravens end up getting upset, which is they have in the past
Yeah.
with Lamar Jackson as the 1 seed, as a 2 seed. So if they lose to a team like that, I think the Chiefs will make the Super Bowl, sadly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the Bills never do. They'll choke.
Yeah.
The Dolphins will not. They're going to get out physical by someone's going to dominate them, I think.
Miami.
Yeah, I don't. If you can run the ball against them, you're done. They're done. Look at the first Bills game.
Someone just got injured too.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb.
Bradley
It was
Chubb.
Chubb.
Yeah.
He's
That
done
was-
for the. He's not.
He
He's
tore
missing.
his Achilles
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
ACL or something.
I think Miami. I mean, they've, in an unlucky way, have had more injuries pop up and questionable tags and stuff like that with their players. Like, I think it might be a bad timing thing for them, and that might cost them.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're having a good season this year, but something tells me that if I were to pick a team that's a top team in the AFC that would lose, it would be the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That would be the team. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine Tua as like a, like if guys around him are falling apart, injuries, and like Mostert. I know Mostert had a great season this year.
Waddle's hurt now, right?
I think Waddle's hurt. Tyreek Hill has gone through
He's
some
questionable.
stuff too, and I mean Mostert's a vet. Like he's not like, I mean he's never gonna have another season like this ever.
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty late in his career for him to have a season like this. I think he's 31, something like that. So like.
Especially as a running back.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I if I had to pick a team to get upset, I think I would pick the Dolphins. I'm not saying I couldn't see Baltimore like losing in a meaningful game. like they could very well be a team that could end up losing in like an AFC championship game. But I don't know, like something tells me that they could potentially pull a Titans a couple years ago, be that number one bye team and lose.
I don't know. The just playoff football, the windows get smaller. The defenses have better game plans.
Yeah.
Because they've played a team once already or twice already.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at like division matchups, I think there's gonna be the AFC is like the NFC is gonna be more competitive because I think like the bottom seeds can like beat some teams, but I think there's only really 2 teams or maybe 3 teams in the AFC that I think 5 teams can make it to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
I agree.
I think there's only 3 teams in
the AFC.
In the AFC, it's Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs. I don't think the Dolphins can make it.
No.
2 up and down, and the Hard Knocks curse.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks also like the Bills could just be. I mean, I know that's a team that a lot of people have been high on the last few years. I know this year they've struggled at times. They've had success at times. Now they're in a position where they could have a good little playoff run, and something tells me like maybe because they're not as hyped up this year that maybe this is the year for them to at least get to the Super Bowl. Like it's a possibility. I mean,
I think it would be better for them, to be honest with you, to sneak up on people if they didn't win the division and still made the playoffs, rather than if they win the division.
And
because there's going to be just more people talking about like, oh, maybe the Bills are back, rather than if they lose the division and still make the playoffs, and the Steelers lose and they still like they're the 7 seed or the 6 seed or whatever it is. I think that would be better for them than. Because no one's going to be talking about them, because they're going to be like, oh, same old Bills, and then they could sneak up on people.
I agree with you.
If they lose and still make the playoffs, they'd get the 7 seed. And guess who they'd play in the first round? The Dolphins again.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row they're going to play the Dolphins? The Dolphins ain't going to win both those games.
Yeah, they're not.
No.
They might win this week, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I do agree with you, though. I do think that I would rather see the Bills as an underdog team and be a wild card, just because I feel like that would give me some reason to be like, well, we've talked about how the Bills like are good and like this and that, and like I don't think anyone thought that they would be a playoff team this year, at least in the middle of the season. I mean, they were looking like shit.
Yeah, they fired their offensive coordinator so bad.
But I mean, they were able to kind of figure it out, and it's like, okay, this, when you see a team that struggles like that and they've had to like work their way back into the mix, like I don't have as much respect for the Chiefs because they've found a way to still be relevant. Like, what are they, 9 and? What's their record right now? Are they
10-6?
10-6. I mean, they found a way to still be relevant even though they are not having a good season. Like the Bills, I'm not saying that they've had a good season. It's been up and down. But to see them work their way back into the mix has been more reassuring than watching a team like the Chiefs, who, in a way, if they do win the division, I'm with you. I hope that they lose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see... this year's Chiefs team would not be a fun one to. I mean, there's just been so much bullshit that's gone on in that organization.
And unless they look different in the playoffs, like they catch hot, and they look like somewhat back, but I just don't think
if they ignite.
No. But I think it would just be like if they make the Super Bowl, it's gonna be the fucking Taylor Swift show and fucking.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so.
She performing at the Super Bowl, maybe that's why the Chiefs are gonna win.
No.
Yeah, when do they announce that usually?
I thought it was Usher.
Yeah, I think Usher's doing it.
Really? When did they announce that?
Last year, I think.
Yeah.
Next year, Lil Wayne wants to do it.
Fuck.
That means the Packers are gonna be in.
But Lil Wayne wants to do it because it's in New Orleans, I think.
Yeah, he's from.
Oh,
I think that's why he wants to do the
Yeah.
halftime show.
wow.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Moving on,
Games.
last thing's just the big Week 18 games. There's only about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones.
That's Vikings. Vikings Lions supposedly is a big one. I think it's just because it's divisional, but the Vikings.
Vikings are done,
Are
right?
done,
They can't
yeah.
make it. I'll go Vikings because I don't think the Lions are that good.
Yeah.
Are the Lions even playing anybody? Are they still playing for? Oh, it's because they're still playing for the 2 seed. If the Cowboys
okay,
lose,
okay.
if
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Cowboys lose, they can still be the 2 seed.
Gotcha.
But if the Cowboys win, then they can't. And
Dallas play Washington this week.
yeah,
It's usually
division. It's usually all
all
divisional.
divisionals. Yeah.
yeah.
All divisional games.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say Bears Packers is big for Green Bay, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
the
yeah,
Bears are
they
gonna
win
win
and
that.
they're in.
yeah.
The Bears are gonna win that game.
You think so?
The
I'm
Bears-
going Packers.
The
Dude.
Bears still
They have a 1% chance.
they still have
No,
a
No, they're
chance.
eliminated.
Are they?
They're done.
I thought that they still had a chance.
No,
Yeah, that's
they're
what I thought,
they're
too.
eliminated.
Like I thought they
Yeah, they're
needed.
done.
They're officially.
out.
Yeah, because last week,
Okay.
Someone won.
last week they needed the Vikings to beat the
Oh yeah,
Packers.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
and
so,
the Packers won.
That's
so
right, that's
then
right.
they
So
eliminated them.
if the Packers lose, are they out? Or
Yeah.
do they still have a chance?
Well,
to,
I think the Seahawks would have to lose.
Yeah, the Seahawks have to lose, and one of the games has to be a tie or something. I
Yeah,
think.
that
Okay.
would be Vikings Saints. I mean Falcons.
Falcons
sorry.
Saints has to tie. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
is
I don't.
are we saying
Which that could actually probably happen because both those teams suck. But
So
I know it's a Bears Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
the Bears have lost 9 in a row to the Packers.
here's
They
the
have
thing,
been
here's
getting
the thing.
dominated for 5 years.
Before
Like, name the close games. I don't remember the close ones in the last
So-
5 years.
hold on. So if
Packers.
if whoever doesn't win the NFC South
Could still get in.
could still get in. So like you're saying, like if the Bucks end up winning that division, the Saints could, and the Packers lose, the Saints will get that last spot.
They could, yes.
What a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Or the Falcons could get in.
fuck that.
And then the Falcons will play the Cowboys. They would get
Yeah.
worked.
So-
Please, I'll go Bears.
the
No, the Packers are gonna beat them in Lambeau.
before the Packers played the Giants, LaFleur, he's 15-0. He's never lost a game in December. They lose the game.
Oh,
What are they
yeah.
really talking about right now?
Wow.
He's 9-0 against the Bears.
Doesn't matter,
That's
dude.
what's
It's
gonna happen, dude?
if the
Bears are
Packers
gonna win.
if the Packers win this game, and they're not 10-0 in the last 10 against the Bears, going into next year, is it a rivalry anymore?
Yeah, I know. That's true.
They have dominated them for 5 years,
yeah.
and they have now this young quarterback. Bears fans are probably like what Rodgers said on McAfee. He was like, they're probably like, oh, finally you get rid of Brett Favre. Now we got this other guy. Rodgers dominates him. And they're like, finally, we get rid of Rodgers, and now you got Jordan Love. And he plays him week 1 and dominates
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, shit.
I don't think he was gonna play that good.
they're going to
Fucking
freaking
week 1.
– the Bears are probably
That
like –
is literally
they-
what Bears fans say. That's
Yeah.
what they say. That's what fucking Marzillo says. Yeah, I want Rodgers out of here. It's like, okay, well,
Well, here's
and
Jordan
then
Love
here's a
for
new
you.
guy.
fuck, dude?
And then here's a new
Here's
guy.
Jordan Love for you.
The
I mean-
Packers they've hit home runs with 2 guys and 2 quarterbacks back to back. They could hit a third one, and the Bears can't stick a quarterback since '85.
yeah.
That
And
makes it
he
even
sucked. He
funnier.
wasn't even a good quarterback. The only reason they won was because their
He
defense.
Exactly.
he wasn't even.
And Montana got hurt that year, and
I don't
think
even.
That's why they
I don't even think McMahon was the longest tenured quarterback on that roster. I want to say it was probably Cutler.
Oh,
Cutler
yeah.
played for like
yeah.
And he's like the
8?
best.
Here's the thing.
He's the
9
best
seasons?
quarterback of all time
statistically.
for the Bears.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler.
McMahon was on the
I like Jay
Bears
Cutler,
in
but-
'82, and I want to say he was gone before the '90s. So I want to say Cutler was the longest tenured quarterback on that in the organization. At least
Yeah, that's sad.
I think
isn't it? Like, I mean,
Like all these other teams, you could name, you can name other teams, and you could be like, oh, this is like the Bears are one of like the biggest markets, right?
Yeah.
If you want to compare markets, Green Bay Packers, that's a small ass market. The fucking stadium is in a neighborhood.
yeah.
Like
Which
the
is-
Dallas
that's kinda cool,
Cowboys,
though,
you
too.
can the Dallas
Pretty cool.
Cowboys, you can name like, oh, these are their great quarterbacks.
Uh-huh.
The Steelers, you can name, oh, these are their great quarterbacks. The 49ers,
Yeah,
like the Chiefs, you can name these.
yeah.
But the Bears, you can't. The Giants, you can name their big quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The Dolphins even have, like, the
Yeah.
Bears just never have a guy.
Nope.
Never. They haven't in the history of time.
No, they've gone through more quarterbacks than any team, and it's not even. And it's by whoever's in second. It's got to be by a long shot because I
Maybe
think
the
they've
Jets, dude.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure since
Joe Namath.
Jim McMahon, I'm pretty sure the Bears have gone through like
Or the Browns.
I think the numbers. It's like
Browns,
30
too.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, and the Browns have had a shit
that could
ton,
be
too.
overhaul, but I want to say it's something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Like the stat is, it's got to beat whoever's in second place by a long shot because, I mean, I don't know. Before Trubisky, it was Cutler.
I think there was someone in between that. I could be wrong.
Was it?
Didn't they have McCown or something start one year?
Oh, it was either him or what's his face. There was another backup guy they had that.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a backup guy.
I remember when Trubisky got drafted, they signed that ugly fucking lawn neck dinosaur looking guy who was god awful.
Glennon?
Mike Glennon.
Matt Barkley.
What the fuck are you doing?
All right.
Signing Mike
Fields,
fucking Glennon.
Trubisky, Cutler, Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton.
Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman is who they had when they lost to the Colts, I think, in the Super Bowl.
All right, those are like the big name guys. So let's go. Yeah, Fields, Trubisky, Barkley and Cutler,
Brian Hoyer.
and Brian Hoyer. Cutler, Jimmy Clausen,
Jimmy
Cutler,
Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen, Cutler, McCown, Jason Campbell, and Cutler. Yeah, Kyle Orton was only started for 1 year.
And Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman.
was the backup.
That was when Rex Grossman brought him to the Super Bowl.
Was that 05 or 06?
And the Bears, I think it was 06. Rexy Sexy is what all the girls called him in Chicago.
Jesus Christ.
Guy sucked.
These fucking
Yeah, Kyle Orton they traded to the Broncos for Jay Cutler because that was when Josh McDaniels got to Denver and
Okay.
he didn't like Jay Cutler, so they traded him to the Bears. Yeah, it's just bad, man. They just can't hit on Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Chase Daniel, Mike Glennon, Brian Hoyer, Matt Barkley. It's just sad. They just never could figure out the quarterback.
And that was only the last like 20 plus ish years. That's
Yeah.
Mhm.
like I don't even know like the 90s were bad as fuck for the Bears going through basically the hangover years since they were dominated in
Yeah.
the 80s. But even then, like, I don't remember. I think Ditka's last year with the Bears was like in the early 90s, and it was obviously a losing season. It was bad. I want to say they maybe won like 3 or 4 games. But like even after like McMahon left, like I'm pretty sure they got to the playoffs and fucking Ditka like played like Doug Flutie or some bullshit. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And they talk about it in the 30 for 30. It's hilarious. They're like, it's like, oh well, we had like the crazy like this crazy guy, and like we had like the big fat guy, like the fridge, and he's like now he just wanted to bring in like the midget or whatever, like to encourage the circus clownery of the, and I mean the team rebelled again. I mean the all the players sounded like they didn't even like
See,
Ditka.
I think
like,
that's like the good coaches, like a Belichick, Don Shula. I feel like none of these guys,
when
like
you're not
none
a
of the players like
coach.
him. None of the
Yeah.
players like
There-
the
There's it sometimes I could tell it depends on like the group of guys you have too. Like
Yeah.
some guys would rather have a guy that you can look at as like a boss and like not like as a friend,
Yeah.
like that doesn't necessarily work. Like some players are, I don't want to say they take advantage of that too much, but like when you're buddy with someone, like it's a little weird to be buddy with your coach. It's like, dude, it's like coaching. It's like being it's like coaching youth baseball.
Yeah.
buddy coaches.
Buddies with the parents and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need to do this. I don't need you to be my friend. I'm your kid's coach, and we can just leave it at that. Don't invite me out to fucking dinner. I don't want to go to the team dinner on the trip. Okay?
buddy
there
gets
needs
you
to
fired,
be-
man.
There needs to be a fine line between player, coach, and then families. It's you treat it like high school or college. Like your parents, if your parents want to bitch, and youth sports, it's a little bit different. But like, if mommy or daddy is bitching to the head coach in high school or college, sorry, your kid is fucking benched because you're old enough. You got to handle your own problems. You can't rely on mommy and daddy to handle your problems for you. But I think kids need to like, and that's the problem with like young coaches. They want to be like cool with these kids, like, and it depends on like what age and style you're coaching too.
Yeah.
But like, these kids need to learn like earlier on. Like, it's cool to have like a cool coach, like a young guy, but like, you don't need to kiss ass like that. Like, work hard and show that you care, and that's all. You don't need to kiss anyone's ass. You can kiss the coach's ass because some idiot coaches are going to respond to that and be like, well, this kid likes me, so like I'm going to play him.
Yeah.
No, don't fucking do that. Like, that's not teaching the
There's-
kid anything.
There's like a fine line between, like in college football, there's like a fine line between like a player's coach, like a younger guy, and like a friend
Yeah.
type coach. Like a young coach, like a Marcus Freeman. Like he's a player's coach because the
Yeah.
players respect him and like him
Yeah.
because he's younger, he's closer to their age, kind of.
Yeah, he's
But
not that
he's
far off.
but he's going to hold you accountable for what we're doing.
yeah.
And like those type of and that's why some guys would rather play for a younger guy rather than like a Nick Saban because like the older,
True.
like,
yeah.
Brian Kelly.
hard on your ass Brian Kelly, like a guy that you never talk to.
No, because you
Like
probably just
like
think
you're
he
telling me
wants to, like,
players go up,
touch you
players go
or
up
get
to
behind you in a fucking reel.
they go up to Brian Kelly, these players, and like go talk to him like as
Yeah.
no, they go talk to their position coaches. They don't go talk to the head coach.
That,
I think like a guy, like a younger coach, they feel more comfortable like going over there and asking questions and approaching them rather than an older guy like a Brian Kelly. They're like, let's just go talk to the safeties coach because I'm a safety, or the defensive coordinator. I'm not going to go talk to the head coach.
Yeah, I feel like that seems to be like that. I feel like I got that same impression with who was the deep voice guy that used to coach LSU before.
Orgeron.
Yeah, that I get similar vibes. Like, I feel like those guys, those older guys you're describing, like they're just kind of there to, like, I don't know, like you hire a staff and the
CEO.
staff. Yeah, exactly.
They're not coaching at all.
You're the. It's like, I don't know. In many ways it could be like managing a professional baseball team. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's not necessarily easy, but like, there's been managers that like Terry Francona has talked about how like being like his job was the easiest job to have. like, yeah, you need to like be responsible and like do your, you know, your homework and stuff. But like, I put the lineup together, the players play. There's really no, I mean, it's all based off of reaction. You know, pitch calling's one thing, but like, and like shifting and stuff like that. But like, you know, you have so much statistics and research on players that have been playing the game that like, if you're going off of spray charts, like, you know, hitters, really good hitters can hit to all fields. I wouldn't say that like every power hitter is a good hitter, because if you're constantly pulling the ball to left field, then the spray
Stanton.
chart's going to tell us to set up over there. And you know what? If you happen to hit one the other way,
Tip
all
your
right,
cap.
you won that one. But like,
But you can't. Now it's even easier for a manager because the shift is outlawed, so you
Yeah.
can't even shift guys. So like,
it's
Exactly.
like you can shift over, but now there's just a massive hole because there's no. There's
Yeah,
no
it's-
freaking. You can't shift another guy to the other side of the base. That's why like a Joey Gallo and like a Stanton, like it's hard to play against those guys because they're gonna be dead pull hitters and
Yeah,
you can't
it's-
shift them anymore.
and I wouldn't like Stanton's a better player than Gallo. Gallo is, I mean, I'm trying to think of a guy to compare him to, like Adam Dunn. When Adam Dunn was like a White Sox, it's like, all right, you're out of your prime. I don't even know, like Gallo's prime. He's been out of his prime far too early because he's still not like an
His
old
prime for like 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like these guys that are like home run or bust, it's like if you're gonna do that, that's fine, because the game has kind of turned into. I mean, it's turned into that. Like if you're gonna be like a guy that hits like, even we'll even say like below 200, but you're gonna hit 40 homers.
Schwarber.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say it, but Kyle Schwarber. I mean, if you're going to hit the home runs and you're going to run the guys in, and your average is not great, nobody cares, because that's your role, right? And if you're on a good team and you play that role, then your team's going to have success. But if you're on a bad team and that's all that people are relying on, it's like, okay, well, like this guy hits 40 homers, but he's batting like 212, and he plays on the fucking Athletics, you know, like, so now we're talking baseball.
Yeah, got on a little tangent there. What's the next game?
Next game's Falcons Saints, which two
Oh, shit,
shitty
we're
teams.
Still talking about the games.
I go Saints, but
Falcon Saints.
I'll
Saints
go
who used to have
Saints,
a
but-
very good defense at the start of the year and is now shit.
I don't know. Derek Carr, I can't really trust him, but
Yeah.
I'll go Saints.
I think Kamara might be sitting out too. I think he's out.
For
Interesting.
So
Easy.
Jamal Williams will probably be starting.
Yeah,
She's still good.
I'll go Saints. I
I'll
don't
still
know.
go Saints though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go Saints. I don't think Atlanta's a good team. I don't necessarily think the Saints are a good team either, but
Neither.
if I'm picking a winner, I'd probably pick the Saints.
Me too. Then we got Texans Colts. It's a tough one, but I'm going Texans.
I like Texans. I like Texans in that game. I think they have I think the Texans have had a better overall season and have been in more games. I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
Colts have surprised me with wins, but they've also, like, there's games that I think they should win that they're basically getting almost blown out. So like I think Houston is a better, like, sound team. They're in games more. If they're losing games, they're not like getting completely blown out of those games.
Yeah.
So
I'll go Houston. I don't know. I just would rather. I think losing Tank Dell really sucks for
Yeah,
the
it
Texans,
does.
though. But I'll
Yeah.
go Houston, even though I think the Colts could win the game. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think
Yeah.
it's one score game. It'll be close because I don't think the Colts are. Like I think it'll just. They're both very similar teams.
yeah.
Yeah. For the last game, Bills Dolphins. kind of a tough one, but
It's in Miami.
yeah, I don't know.
Based
This
on
is a
what
tough one because it's up in the air, honestly.
based
It
on what
is.
I want to happen, I'll pick the Dolphins because I
Yeah.
want the Steelers to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the first game, the Bills dominated them, man.
They did.
That was when Dolphins were like 4-0. Everyone's talking about them. Bills come in and just dominated them.
Yep.
But I'll go Dolphins because
I'll go
I want the Steelers to make the
Dolphins
playoffs.
too, just because of, like you said, what happened earlier in the year.
It's
And
a
if
bad.
Tyreek plays, because I think he's questionable right now.
The Dolphins players have to know that everyone in media talking about how if you can run the ball against them and be physical, they have no chance.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna fire them up a little bit. But I think it'll be a good game, obviously. But I'll go Dolphins.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Dolphins too, just because I want what you said you want to happen.
With the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, I could care less about. I could care
don't-
less about Pittsburgh. I care more about the Bills getting a playoff spot by not winning the division because I think that just. I think that's a better story for them instead of being a team that they were the division winners and they. Even though they're not like a top seeded team.
Yeah.
I mean, winning a division would help them out, of course, but like, and I don't know, like, but part of me also thinks like, with the NFL, I feel like you do see like a lot of splits with teams. So like, I also could see Miami winning this game because of what happened earlier on in the year with Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, but
It's tough to be a team twice, man.
Exactly.
Especially when it's a team like that, like a good football team. It's
Right.
hard to win 2 games against them. Go 2-0. I don't
Guys,
know.
have anything else to add on? Or?
No, I mean, I'm starting to get a little footballed out this year,
Yeah.
but I'm excited for the playoffs to get started soon because, I don't know. I've gotten to that point where I'm like, man, like watching the amount of football that I've watched this year. I'm like, we just need to get to the playoffs because, like I don't mind watching the Bears, but like some of these other teams that. Like these other games that are on, I'm like, I don't know. Some of these teams that have already made the playoffs, it's like, well, is it even worth watching them anymore?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Exactly.
like Baltimore's got like everybody is like sitting out, like.
See,
So,
the
I
only
mean-
intrigue to that game is Steelers win, they can still make the playoffs.
Exactly.
That's the
Right.
only intrigue of that game.
Right.
But like two teams that aren't going to make the playoffs playing against each other, like I'm not watching that.
Exactly.
No. Exactly.
I don't know.
And if the Packers do make the playoffs, they have a 0.9% chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
0.9?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow, they're really giving them a shot.
Yeah, right?
So you're telling me there's a chance.
I mean, they're if they do make the playoffs, their road to the Super Bowl is tough.
It is,
There's
because you got
Yeah,
Cowboys
you have
and
to play the
Niners.
Cowboys. Then if you win that, you have to play the Niners. And then if you win that, you probably have to play the
Rams
frickin'
or Lions.
Rams, Lions.
you know what?
All on the road.
I'm hoping for a Dallas or
I hope Dallas.
Rams for Super Bowl team.
Yeah. If the,
I'd like to see it.
Dallas
Packers
Rams
are
for the
out,
Dallas
the
Rams in the NFC Championship in
Yeah.
Dallas. That'd be a great game.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah.
I
I'd like
mean,
to see it
obviously,
happen. I feel like
Go Cowboys.
I don't know. It
obviously.
might be more.
Yeah. Unless they Packers play on.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not.
It's gonna be a good day
I
there.
think it'd be a good game.
Yeah.
Cowboys Packers. If it happens though, Packers got to beat the Bears, man.
Yeah, if you can't do that, then we obviously don't deserve to be in the fucking playoffs.
Yeah. But they're close. Young quarterback. You're at eight wins right
Youngest
now.
team in the NFL.
No one expected.
No one
this,
expected him to be
No.
this good.
I didn't.
I
After week 1, though, I was like, oh, maybe we'll win 10 games.
But yeah,
I mean,
But
Jordan Love
can win
won
9.
nine. Yeah.
I wasn't on that Jordan Love like.
Tried telling you, man. Try telling him.
I think he's
I was
good.
surprised. I was surprised. I didn't have a lot of faith in him early on because I feel like I haven't seen enough.
I know,
but
I get it.
Well, yeah.
he's had a good.
We still haven't seen enough,
No, we haven't. No.
but
Because you don't know what can happen. Next year, they could lose all these guys, and then now he's on a
Exactly.
crap team, and he's in a bad situation. And
Sure.
so you never know what could happen.
yeah, I think we got to draft a running back. Get rid of Jones.
Yeah, Jones is.
He's gone.
He's hardly played this year. And
Jair
too many
Alexander
hammies.
gone.
I think they're going to keep him.
You think so?
Yeah. I thought that they were going to trade him, but I have a feeling they're going to keep him because I think he wants to stay.
Yeah, I think he likes the young guys. I agree with that because he was talking about. I know I was upset I couldn't play, but them young dogs out there locked down. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
they
I
also
think
just they don't have a quarterback.
He still has like one of the funniest when Justin Jefferson last year when
He
they
was
came
gritting
and
on
he
him.
grittied on him. That was awesome when he did that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's gonna end episode 3. See you guys next week. See ya.